Charles Barkley just did something he almost never does on live television. He apologized. And the way it happened, with Shaq laughing in the background and Kenny Smith shaking his head, made it one of the most awkward moments in Inside the NBA history. This is the story of how a Turkish center forced Charles Barkley to eat his words on national TV. It started in November 2023 during a typical Inside the NBA segment where the crew was discussing young players who were overrated by their fans. Charles Barkley, never one to hold back his opinions, brought up Alperen SENGUN without any prompting. "I'm gonna tell you something about this Turkish kid in Houston," Chuck began with a characteristic bluntness. "Y'all need to stop hyping him up like he's the next great center. The boy can pass, I'll give him that, but he can't guard nobody. He's too slow and he's playing for a team that ain't going nowhere." Shaq immediately jumped in, half joking. "Chuck, you didn't even say his name right." "I don't need to say his name right to know he ain't it," Barkley shot back, getting laughs from the crew. "These Rockets fans acting like they got the next Jokic." Newsflash, they don't. The clip went viral immediately. Rockets fans were furious. Turkish basketball fans flooded social media with defenses of Alperen, and the phrase "Chuck doesn't know basketball" started trending. But Barkley, true to form, doubled down in the following weeks, continuing to dismiss Alperen's performances and question whether he deserved to be a starting center in the NBA. What made the criticism particularly harsh was the dismissive tone. Barkley wasn't just saying Alperen needed to improve. He was suggesting that the hype around him was completely undeserved. Over the next few months, something remarkable happened. Alperen didn't respond with words. He responded with performances that were impossible to ignore, even for Charles Barkley. In December, Alperen had a 28-point, 16-rebound, 7-assist game against the defending champion Nuggets, completely outplaying Nikola Jokic in a head-to-head matchup. In January, he dropped 32 points on the Lakers while shooting 75% from the field. In February, he had back-to-back triple-doubles that had NBA analysts comparing him to the league's elite playmaking centers. But the performance that really caught everyone's attention came in a nationally televised game against the 76ers in March 2024. Alperen put up 30 points, 14 rebounds, and 11 assists, a dominant triple-double that included several passes that had even opposing coaches applauding. After that 76ers game, social media exploded with one message: Charles Barkley owes Alperen an apology. Clips of Chuck's original criticism were paired with highlights from recent games, making the contrast impossible to ignore. The pressure on Barkley to address his take was building, but those who know Chuck understood he doesn't back down easily. He'd rather be wrong and entertaining than right and boring. The moment everyone had been waiting for came during a March 2024 Inside the NBA broadcast, right before a Rockets game was about to air. The producers had clearly set it up, showing highlights of Alperen's recent performances as a lead-in to the crew's discussion. Ernie Johnson, the show's host and master of putting Chuck in uncomfortable positions, teed it up perfectly. "Chuck, you had some thoughts about Alperen SENGUN earlier this season. Care to revisit those?" The camera cut to Barkley, who immediately knew what was coming. Shaq was already laughing before Chuck could say anything. Kenny Smith had that knowing smile. The whole crew was ready for what was about to happen. All right, Chuck began, clearly uncomfortable but trying to play it off. "I may have been slightly premature in my assessment." "Premature?" Shaq exploded with laughter. "Man, you said he ain't it. You said he can't guard nobody." Barkley shifted in his seat, that famous grimace appearing on his face. "Look, the kid's been playing better than I thought he would, okay? I was wrong. There, I said it. Y'all happy now?" But Ernie wasn't letting him off that easy. "Chuck, I think you need to say it directly." To Alperen. To the camera. What happened next became an instant classic. Barkley turned to face the camera, clearly annoyed but also amused by the situation. "Alperen, SENGUN, if you're watching..." "I was wrong about you. You're a hell of a player, and I should have given you more credit." Then came the awkward pause. Barkley looked back at his co-hosts, as if checking whether that was enough. Shaq was still laughing. Kenny was nodding approvingly. Ernie had that satisfied smile of someone who just got exactly what he wanted. "But," Chuck couldn't help himself, "you still need to work on your defense." The entire crew erupted. "There it is!" Shaq yelled. "He can't just apologize. He gotta add a but at the end." The clip of Barkley's apology went even more viral than his original criticism. Within hours, it had millions of views across social media platforms. The awkwardness of the moment, combined with Shaq's laughter and Chuck's inability to apologize without adding a criticism, made it perfect television. Alperen himself responded with characteristic class during his next post-game interview. "I respect Charles Barkley. He's a legend. And honestly, he's right. I do need to work on my defense, but I appreciate him watching my games and changing his mind." This response somehow made Barkley look even more impressed. During the next Inside the NBA broadcast, Chuck brought it up unprompted. "See, that's what I'm talking about. The kid takes criticism like a professional, works on his game, and doesn't get sensitive about it. That's how you become great." The transformation was complete. Barkley had gone from dismissive critic to reluctant admirer, all playing out on national television in the most awkward way possible. Today, Charles Barkley regularly praises Alperen SENGUN during Inside the NBA broadcasts, though he still can't resist occasionally mentioning that defense needs work. The awkward apology has become part of NBA folklore, a reminder that even legends can be wrong, and that admitting it on live TV makes for unforgettable television. For Alperen, forcing Charles Barkley to apologize on national TV wasn't just a personal victory, it was validation from one of basketball's most respected and brutally honest voices. When Chuck admits he was wrong, it means something. The Turkish center who wasn't it, according to Barkley, is now regularly featured in Inside the NBA highlight packages, and Chuck has to live with the fact that his apology will be replayed every time someone mentions Alperen's name. Sometimes the best response to criticism isn't words. It's performances so undeniable that even Charles Barkley has to say, awkwardly and on live television, "I was wrong."